Welcome everybody to today's video. In today's video, we are going to be breaking down episode 4 of Turnbuckle Talk with CZV. Tonight's episode is going to be for the TNA Impact that we just saw. I mean, there's a lot of storylines being built down here. I think it's going to be really awesome to dig in and to really see what we think about it. But I mean, waste no time. I'm gonna have to. If you want to watch this live and ahead of everybody, except for the people who are watching live on Twitch, you can come over to the Twitch. I'm reacting to all your guys' comments about TNA. And by the way, we did a watch along for TNA tonight, and if you want to go watch that, that's there as well. So you can go check that out. That's on my Twitch VOD, CZV_wrestling_2309. So you can go watch those if you really want to. But next up, we got to get to the TNA Impact. Let's get to it. Commentators, Tony Hannafan and Matthew Matthew. Okay, I'm not going to say his last name because I really don't know how to say it. Anyway, the show starts with a graphic voiceover from Tom Hannafan talking about the passing of Hulk Hogan. They cut to a crowd who chanted USA, and I'm really glad to see that the fans aren't trying to make it a joke, because it don't matter how much he's passed, and you kind of got to respect how much he's done for pro wrestling. So that was a good way to start off TNA Impact. By the way, I'm just realizing that my title did not get exported. So for the people who are seeing this and the title did not get exported, my bad. But yeah, that's what started off the show. Great way to start it off. We see Santino Marella do his entrance. Mike in the ring, he addressed Ethan Page and said that he would be seeing him on Slamovich music played, and she walked to the ring and said that JC Jane's title from her, and she wanted a rematch. Santino said that she'd have it. Masha was happy and left the ring. Santino said the match would take place next week. Then after we saw the system come out, where they were in red and yellow, except for Moose. I will draw my own conclusions. Eddie Edwards said that they were ready to stand up and fight for T. And Eddie said that he's done everything in his power to help the company succeed. But Brian Myers said that the letters TNA meant everything to him. He said that TNA was the system's home. JDC said if TNA is going to war, they'll be Santino's soldiers. So obviously, they mean by war that pretty much NXT has taken over TNA. And we have two TNA champions holding the Women's TNA Knockouts Championship, as well as the Trick Williams holding the TNA Championship. And then we hear Moose say that he has accomplished almost everything in TNA, but it's not about winning the title. It's about building a legacy. He said he would go to war with everyone in that locker room. He brought up the TNA World title. He said that the system carried TNA on their backs. He said that he knows what he needs next. Whoop that Trick. So that obviously brings Trick Williams stage, who was with First Class, KC, and AJ. Trick told Moose to sit. He talked about Moose losing to Leon Slater and said that he must be stupid. Trick said it was his house now and talked about beating Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. He said that Moose didn't have enough firepower for him. So pretty much trying to down-talk Moose and now kind of playing that bigger role and trying to say that he's too big to face somebody like a Moose. And, I mean, big tactics from a guy like Trick. I absolutely loved this segment right here. And I think the best thing about it was that we kind of got a match out of it. So I'm really excited to get into what happened there. But I think Trick is just such a good TNA champ. I mean, I think that he cannot beat Obafemi right now. Oba's so dominant. But it's mostly just because of Yoshiki, Josh Bree kind of drama. But it's so good that Trick can rule another company, and he's pretty much having two companies on his back, like he says. But it's crazy. That's very crazy. Moose challenged them to get in the ring, and Order 4 came out instead. Mustafa Ali said that he would bury Trick like he was the Undertaker, but Order 4 walked down the aisle. Ali insulted the system. Order 4 got in the ring, and a brawl started immediately. Security tried to break it up. They abruptly went to commercial break. Then we see, after the commercial break, Santino talked with the system backstage. Matt Cardona approached, and Santino said that Brian Myers and Matt Cardona should have a reunion and take on the Great Hands next week. So that's what we're going to be seeing I mean, really, it was this week because we saw it later in the show. So I think that is kind of dumb why he said that. But yeah, we ended up seeing it later in the night. We see the concierge. How do you even say that? Gosh, I'm still learning how to say these names. Came out to insult the crowd and to introduce the Elegance brand, where we would see the Elegance brand face the inspiration of Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay and Mara Sade. The inspiration brought out Mara Sade, formerly known as Jakara Jackson in WWE/NXT, as their mystery opponent or their mystery partner. Hannah Fan acknowledged that Sade has been in TNA before, but he didn't say her old name. All 6 wrestlers fought in the ring, and the Elegance brand mocked the Inspiration's pose. The Inspiration and Sade took them down and battled them outside of the ring. The Elegance brand had the advantage coming out of the break. Lee had many hot tags. Sade did have a fancy DDT on Heather. Everyone exchanged moves, and Heather got a near fall on Sade. Sade tagged in Lee. The Inspiration got their finisher on Heather and Lee and got the pin. So we see the Inspiration and Mara Sade pick up the victory in 11 seconds. So obviously, very, very, very good match here. I loved how Mara Sade brought out. I love how they brought out Mara Sade, but the pop for Mara Sade was pretty bad. I love seeing Mara on the Indies, and now that we're kind of, I don't know if she's signed with TNA. I'm gonna have to check on that, but if she is, that's really good news because I hope that she can do some good things on TNA TV. But she was doing decent on the Indies. I know she showed up at the All Women's Indies PLE on the All Indie. Well, I guess we can call it a premium live event because it is a paper or like not a pay per view, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I think that she's doing an awesome job. So her on TNA was kind of cool, but she didn't get a good pop because I think those TNA fans didn't really know who she was. But yeah, awesome there. And by the way, the Inspiration is doing great things in TNA. I love what the Inspiration's doing on TNA, and I think that they're like kind of bringing a whole entire new character. We saw the injury report. The injury report this week was Gia Miller, Moose, and Casey Navarro. So those 3 still on the list, which made me interested why Moose tried to call out Trick. But Gabby tried to interview Mike Santana, but he just walked off. She interviewed Indy Hartwell instead, in which Indy said that Tessa Blanchard is out the way, and now she can focus on her quest for the title. Danny Luna and Victoria Crawford walked in. Victoria said that they both have great potential, and Danny challenged her to a match, which we will see next week. Eric Young and the Northern had a backstage promo. Eric said that he was the only one that could cleanse TNA and finally bring it back to where actual TNA superstars have the title. So now I'm kind of just like the title of this video today being TNA is going after Trick. How it is. They're going after the TNA title. And they're going after JC Jane as well. They're trying to win back what is originally theirs, and that's what pretty much all of TNA is right now. So I'm glad that they're doing that, but at the same time, it's like we are being conservative of certain opponents, and we're not putting certain opponents on TV just because we want to get TV time for NXT superstars, and I think that's not right. My favorite part of the night was Leon Slater walking to the ring for a promo, but they showed a clip of AJ Styles congratulating him. We saw Leon Slater walk to the ring for a promo. They showed a clip of AJ Styles congratulating him in the inset. Fans chanted, "You deserve it." He said, "This is crazy." He said that it wasn't only the biggest night of his life, but it was the biggest night in TNA history. And in Moose, he also talked about how AJ Styles was how excited he was to see AJ Styles' Slammiversary. And Slater, he would bring the X Division back to the roots. He listed some of the X and greats. He promised to make his reign special. And he gave a big thank you to the Hardys for paving the way for the whole league. He asked them to come out. Matt and Jeff ended up coming out, and which got a huge ovation. They shook hands later. Matt talked about the special energy that's happening in TNA. He said that they were the new tag team champions, and their son Slater was the new X Division champion. Jeff spoke next. He was cut off by the music of Steve Macklin. Macklin was pretty appreciative of the Hardys as well. Macklin said that he could feel the energy as well, but he wasn't happy about what happened at Slammiversary. He didn't feel like the outsiders had belts and didn't even work in TNA. Macklin complimented all three wrestlers. He had to hold the line and draw a line in the sand. He said that TNA was his family. He said whoever decided to step up and be in for a war, fans chanted TNA, said that the war, that they would not refuse to lose the war between TNA and NXT. The music played, they all held up their belts, and Hannah fans said that that's what true TNA champions look like. So we had a awesome little segment there. I absolutely love that. I mean, I hope they really make a poster of that picture because I really want to hang that picture up out of my room right there. That picture of Steve Macklin holding up his championship, Leon Slater holding up the X Division championship, and Matt and Jeff holding up the TNA tag titles is beauty. And I think that it's gonna, like, it was just so perfect. Next up, we saw Jake Something versus Mance Warner in a no DQ match, and man, this war, chairs and trash cans were used. Steph's interference allowed Mance to give Jake a superplex onto a bunch of chairs. Mance tried to hit Jake with a sledgehammer, but Jake moved in time, and Mance hit the chair instead. Jake poured out a bag of tacks outside of the ring. Jake dropped Mance into the tacks. Back in the ring, Jake hit the black hole slam on Mance and got the pin. And he got this win in 6 minutes. I didn't know how I feel about Mance Warner losing this match because of the bump he took. That bump was insane. Thumbtacks, I love in wrestling, but at the same time, it's like it makes me cringe every time. It makes me wince. Super good match. I love Mance Warner. He's one of my favorites in TNA, to be honest. I love his character. I love what he's doing with his wife by his side. It's kind of like a. Let's see, who can we compare this to? It's kind of like a Rusev and Lana whenever they were in the WWE. It's kind of like a Scarlett and carrying a cross type of deal. I love it. We saw clips of Ethan Page and Santana Marella angle from NXT this past week. We saw Jacy Jayne and the Fatal Influence walk to the stage. Jacy Jayne bragged about winning the TNA Knockouts title. She talked about the former champs such as Gail Kim, Awesome Kong, the Beautiful People, and Jordan Grace. And she said that she's the future, and fans would think of Jacy. She said that they were talented women in TNA, but they were all over the place. She named Tessa Blanchard, Zia Brookside, Victoria Crawford, the Alex Brand, Xia Li. She said whoops and insulted them. She said that she always gets the last word. I hated this segment. It was not needed, but I mean, I guess it is like the celebratory because this is the Impact right after Slammiversary. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I believe this is the second week after it, but it is what it is. Same thing, kind of getting bragging rights from Jen and Leon Slater for being the new champs, as well as Trick Williams, and it's definitely not good that we have 2 TNA champions as NXT superstars. It's not healthy, but I'm excited to see where it goes because I love how we're kind of expanding here, but I just think that it's kind of weird seeing NXT people the TNA titles, but I am glad that we're mostly seeing Trick Williams on TNA and not on NXT. I think that's what's healthy. But then we see Matt Cardona and Brian Myers versus the Great Hands with Mustafa Ali and Tasha Steelz at ringside. The Great Hands had the advantage at the start, but Myers made a comeback and tagged in Cardona. All 4 wrestlers fought. Cardona decked Ali. Alicia and Tasha fought at ringside. One of the Secret Service members chokeslammed Cardona, and Skyler pinned Cardona to win the match. And the Great Hands won in 3 minutes. Frankie Kazarian tried to join commentary team, but security and referees made him leave. And Mike Santana and Joe Hendry did their references. But the match between Cardona and Brian Myers versus the Great Hands was actually not bad. I kind of enjoyed it just a little bit. I love the ending. I love how we're kind of using the security members as something that can be used as like an actual storyline. And by the way, that guy is tall as crap. That guy's really, really tall. I think that it was awesome that we saw the security members get involved here, but I feel like I'm kind of skipping through this review. I feel like I'm kind of skipping out on some key parts that I need to be mentioning, but it is what it is. I think that it's lagging for you guys. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm sorry for that. By the way, if y'all want to watch these videos more clear, if you're watching it on a TV or something, you need to be watching it on your phone or a laptop. I don't know if a laptop shows clear quality, but on a phone it's clear quality, but on TV it's kind of blurry. So if you want clear content, then go over to your phone or your iPad, whatever works. But yeah, the Matt Cardona and Brian Myers match, I thought it was really cool because we can go so many angles with it. Awesome right there. And then in the main event, we saw Mike Santana versus Joe Hendry in a match that really kind of determined who goes on to keep pushing in the main event, or like the main scene. I predicted that Mike Santana was going to win this match, in which he did roll up, and I think that's what's best. We hyped up Mike Santana so much going into the TNA Slammiversary just for him to lose to Trick Williams. He went on the Ariel Helwani show. I thought that the whole reason why he was going on these and doing these podcasts was TNA told him to, and TNA kind of told him to reach out to some of his interviewers to get interviews and kind of hype up his match at Slammiversary and to kind of hype up that he might win. I thought the whole plan was to make him win at Slammiversary, so I was actually kind of excited. But then we get to Slammiversary and Trick Williams retains the title. I thought that was pretty weird, but it is what it is. I know I say that a lot now because, I mean, you really can't do anything about it, but I really hope that Mike Santana gets his opportunity and gets the title some point this year. If he doesn't get this title from Trick by the end of the year, I think that, oh, by the way, I think that he should be the one to take the title off of Trick. I think it has to happen. He's really the only one that has the crowd push right now. And to be honest, he had more crowd pop tonight than Joe Hendry did. So I think that was big because we know Joe is like a huge fan favorite. So I think that it was big tonight to see Mike Santana get the pop he did. And it's also great to see the fans really, really behind what he does. And I think once he did all these interviews, it kind of brought people to his story and it kind of brought people to understand where he comes from. So I really love Mike Santana. I love what he's doing. But without further ado, I hope y'all enjoyed this TNA Impact review. I'm going to go and edit the clips to my reactions. And I'm going to post those over on the Instagram. Go follow that, CZV_wrestling. But without further ado, I hope y'all enjoyed this TNA Impact. We'll be back tomorrow because I got some news to share. I might even do some reviews tonight if I really feel like it. But I've done so many videos today, so I'm just going to try to calm down just a little bit. But without further ado, hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces.